I have a 24-inch 5mm rope chain with a pendant. I want another chain to layer it with the rope, but I don't know what chain to get next. Do you have any suggestions? The only thing that stays consistent is the grind. Keep on grinding. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So happy to be back there. I hope that you are all doing very, very well. I'm very excited today, not only because of the awesome request that we had to look into, which we're going to do in a moment, but first I wanted to show you this pendant that I actually picked up. Check this thing out. Let's hope you can see it good. This was actually a piece that I found on Etsy. Look at this guy. Look at this face. Isn't that sick? This is a piece that I found on Etsy. It was in silver, but I was able to get it in a matte gold finish. So it's pretty cool. I think in silver it would be fantastic, but I just had to do the gold just because I'm on a gold kick. Not that I have anything against silver at all. In fact, one of the awesome subscribers asked me to recently look into a Luke Zion piece. Have you guys ever heard of Luke Zion? Let me know in the comments. If you have heard of him, well, guys, I got a surprise for you coming up pretty soon. Let's hope the mailman gets here. But in the meantime, I have this awesome new pendant. I'm loving it. Really cool. Loving that angry looking, wise looking, whatever kind of looking face that is. It was just too much. I mean, a gorilla with a beard and like a really wise kind of like an angry look. I had to have this thing. I'll leave a link in the description if you guys want to check out the Etsy seller that I got it from. And I have that paired, because I know you guys are going to ask, I have that paired with a 22-inch 2mm rope chain. I originally had this paired with a 3mm Franco, but the Franco was just too big for this thing. It was just, the chain, I mean, it fit and it looked nice. It did look nice, but the chain was taking up the glory. And I wanted the pendant to really have the, I wanted the pendant to stand out. So anyway, really think this is cool. So hope you guys like it. I love it. Let's get into today's request. Now, within this request, the gentleman said that he wanted a chain to pair with the chain that he currently has, the 5mm at 24 inches, I believe it was. But the thing is that he didn't say if he wanted to pair it at a shorter or longer length. He said that the 5mm rope that he has a pendant, but I mean, there's really no rules, so whether you want to rock the pendant on the outside of the longer chain or on the inside of the shorter chain, that's up to you. That depends on you, your style. It depends on the pendant itself. We're going to have to take a look today at two different options. We're going to look at a shorter option so that, you know, you have a chain sitting on the inside of the 5mm rope, and then we're going to look at a longer option just to be on the safe side, because I don't know what this particular subscriber was thinking. You guys might be familiar, we just actually recently put a video out the other day talking about the best chain in, you know, there's no real the best, but the best chain that you can pair with a rope chain that is not another rope chain. We actually did a very in-depth video. If you guys want to check that out, you can check that out. It may give you some good insight as to what you might want to do when it comes to a situation like this. Two rope chains together, they'll always look great, but if you can like give a little bit of a contrast, a little bit of a different look, that would be fantastic. So check that video out if you like. Today we're going to look at two options that I picked out of my stash that might pair well with this 5mm rope chain. All right, let's get into it. Okay guys, so the setup around the neck right now is the 24-inch 5mm rope chain that this gentleman already has, paired with a 5mm flat curb, or it's actually technically a concave curb, but you guys would have had no idea if I didn't tell you that. So it is a flat curb. Well, it's a concave curb, but we'll call it a flat curb, unless of course you want to find a concave curb to pair with this. But they're almost identical. They're almost identical, especially at this millimeter. So for the purposes of this video, let's just call it a flat curb, not to confuse anybody. You have a rope chain, 5mm at 24 inch, paired with a 22-inch flat curb or concave curb. So the reason why I chose a 5mm flat curb to pair with a 5mm rope chain is because, guys, the rope chain is such a beast that if I were to have paired it with a 4mm, maybe go down a millimeter, I feel as though the flat curb would have just been too small looking, even though it was at the same millimeter, because this rope chain compared to this flat curb actually does look substantially bigger. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but it does, in my opinion at least, look substantially bigger. So I wanted something to just be a small amount, just something a little bit smaller, nothing too much smaller, so I didn't want to go to a 4. I think a 5mm flat curb or a Miami or a concave curb, they're all very similar, especially at the 5mm width. I think they would hang beautifully on the inside of this. Now, remember, this gentleman has a pendant. Unfortunately, I don't have a pendant that's gonna, fit this bail on this 5mm rope, so we're gonna have to do it without the pendant. The pendant would pull down just a bit like this if this gentleman wanted to have this on the inside. So perhaps this gentleman would like, if he has a pendant on the rope and wants to keep it on the rope, because he could always change it to the innermost chain. If you were going to have that pendant on there, I would say don't pair that with a 22" like I have here. I would say pair that with a 20", okay? Hanging out up here, something like that. Then you can have the pendant hanging on here, depending on how big the pendant is, or you can have the pendant hanging out here, have the pendant hanging on here, not messing around with the innermost chain, because you can see these two are layered as to the point where if it was hanging on this rope, you'd have this little gap right here. Maybe you'd want a larger gap. I would say at that point in time, go for a 20" 5mm, okay? So you would have this. All right, but because I don't have a pendant that we can go ahead and put on this, I'm gonna take this 12 feet away to show you guys the difference. Remember, if you're gonna put a pendant on, honestly, if you're gonna put a pendant in this scenario on either one of these chains, either one, I would say make sure the chain you purchase is a 20". Okay, this is a 5mm, this is a 5mm. The rope chain is at 24 inches, and the flat curb, or whatever, whatever it is at this point, it's at 22 inches, okay? So we'll take this 12 feet back, give you guys a good look at that. Check this out up close though, because, it's gonna be important. I think this is beautiful. I think this, the other day in that video, I'm pretty sure this was the clear winner. I think most people agreed. Pairing a chain like this, whether it's a concave, whether it's a flat, whether it's a Miami, pairing it with a rope is absolutely gorgeous, in my opinion, and in many other people's opinions. Again, check that video out if you want a little bit more of a further deep dive, okay? So I'm gonna take this back. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think? You think it's good? You think it's bad? Especially with the pendant. Remember, I don't want you to purchase too long of a chain. I would say the best thing you can do is go with a 20" if you're gonna have the pendant on the rope, which is 24 inches, or if you're gonna have it on the shorter chain. Again, I don't know what this subscriber was exactly getting at, because the comment wasn't all that detailed. So I'm doing my very best to hit all angles when it comes to this, all right? Now, if this subscriber meant that they wanted a chain to layer, not shorter, not with a smaller millimeter, not shorter, not going up, but out. Let's pair this 5mm 24" with a longer chain to see how that looks. And maybe this will give that gentleman an idea if he wants to go longer. Let's look at that now. All right, guys, so paired with this 5mm 24" rope chain, we have a 26" Miami Cuban at 7mm, okay? Now, this was if this gentleman wanted to go longer. Remember, he said he had a pendant. So if you have a pendant, depending on that size, you might want to go to even a 28. But I don't have a pendant, unfortunately, right now that's gonna match. So I'm just giving you an idea of styles as far as this goes. You might want to tailor, if you wanted to keep that pendant on the rope, you might want to tailor this to maybe not a 26 inch, but maybe a 28 inch, okay? So you have 24 inch on the rope, then a 28 inch hanging down if you want to keep the pendant on there. Whatever you want to do, this is just the best that I can give you, considering it was a very vague comment, and considering the fact that I don't have a pendant that will fit the bail for this 5mm, okay? But don't worry, guys, I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna be getting a pendant, something that'll fit for demonstration purposes. Just gonna take a little time for that. So anyway, guys, check this out. Now, I want to show you something. I don't think this is a bad look at all. Now, the thing that I want to mention is, remember, this is a 7mm. Now, I could have went at a 6mm. Pair of 6mm Cuban or flat curb, whatever you decide. At the larger millimeters, though, I gotta say, the flat curbs are going to look different than a Miami, okay? For sure, at the larger millimeters. At like a 5, you're barely gonna be able to tell at a 5mm. They're almost, in my opinion, they're from a distance especially, but even up close, they're gonna be very hard to tell. A 7mm though, you're gonna know. So you need to decide, do you want a Miami Cuban at this point? Do you want a concave, or do you want a flat curb? Either one, I think would look fantastic. But personally, I like the thicker links of the Miami Cuban paired with this. Would a flat curb look good? Absolutely. Absolutely, I have no doubt that it would. But I like the thicker links at the 7mm because at that point you can really tell, you can really see the thickness of the links. At the 5mm is a little harder. Anyway, the reason why I didn't go with a 6, right? Because I could have went with a 6, is because even a 6mm Miami Cuban or flat curb or whatever have you, it would still, in my opinion, look too small when compared to this 5mm rope. That's how much of a presence the 5mm rope has. So I wanted to make sure that it was 2mm larger. To really give it a difference, I wanted it to really stand out. Would a 6mm whatever chain stand out enough? It might, or it might not give too much of a difference. I want it to be night and day. That's what I wanted. So you make that determination depending on what you think about these styles. To this subscriber, let's take this back 12 feet away, give you guys the best look we can on camera. Let me know what you guys think in the comments as to what you think is best. Again, I can only do so much considering the request was pretty vague, and considering the fact that I don't have a pendant to fit the bail. But I'm sure that this subscriber will get a fantastic idea as to what he wants to do. My opinion, I say go with a flat curb, go with a Cuban, go with a concave, any of those link chains. When paired with a rope, I really think that you're gonna do well for yourself. I really do. The combo got a lot of praise from a lot of people, and I'm happy to see that. I like it a lot. I remember one time a subscriber mentioned, Jaxxon says rope chains go with rope chains, link chains go with link chains, and that's it. Well, I gotta say, guys, I think this is a sick look. I really do, and I made it known in that video, and I'm glad that others thought that as well. Anyway, guys, hope you're all doing well. Be safe. Let me know in the comments what you think. Also, let me know what you guys think about that ape pendant that I showed you, and also these glasses. My wife hates them. I don't know how I'm gonna really look. That's why I wore them today. They're demo glasses. Just wearing them to see what I look like on camera. See if maybe I should keep them or not. But do me a favor, hit me up, let me know. Talk to you guys soon. Be safe. I'll catch you all at the next video.